Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Fibonacci Basics with Mr. Fibs. You know what it is. Happy MLK weekend, and yeah, let's get into it. So today, day one, I'm just gonna take you briefly through Fibs. I actually have a webinar this weekend, January 21st, with Caleb and the Keanu Trades gang. I'll be going over Fibs and a lot more detail than what I'm gonna go through, but I'm just gonna give you guys a basic starter pack, of how to figure things out. So yeah, with Fibonacci, a lot of people know that it tends to work better on longer time frames. In addition to that, you want to be in a dominant trend. Yes, Fibonacci works in a sideways environment, given the levels and whatnot, but to really maximize it, you want to be in a trend-based environment where you can buy pullbacks or sell impulse moves up. So you want to always start with identifying a swing high, swing low. In this tester example, I will have my settings on for my fib, so just pay attention if you're wondering what levels I use for fib retracement and Fibonacci extension. So let's start with Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft. I'm gonna go swing high to swing low, and as you see, I just ran it how most people would run their fibs right now, which is from the ultimate high to the ultimate low, wick to wick. I don't necessarily do this, but I'm going to do this for the case of the video. So with Fibonacci, in a bearish trend, you want to draw from a high to the low, okay? So just like we drew in a bearish trend, you're going down, you want to draw from high to low, okay? And then on an uptrend, say we're just trying to catch this little bounce situation, you're going to go from low to high. It's really simple. Okay, guys? So after that, I'll essentially just go through how I would work it. So I would look at the 10-minute or whatever time frame. Honestly, in this situation, I'm just going to use a 4-hour. I'm more comfortable with the 4-hour and just giving you examples on the 4-hour because I don't want you to think anything's going to play out just because I showed you the levels. Okay, so now we got the 4-hour extended hours data turned off. So let's say we want to catch this uptrend from low to high. In my scenario, the way I would run my fibs is I don't go for the ultimate low. I go for the confirmation of the move. So what do I see? I see after we breached this low, we came up and held and made this gap move above the EMAs. So anywhere here, pretty much this area, I see a lot of confluence as far as buyers. So I'll just draw the demand out that I would play it, and then boom. So you get a little tweezer bottom to there, and then pretty much to that Morningstar reversal area. Yeah. Or this Morningstar reversal. So you see the buyers had stepped in there. And then for me, the swing high, yes, it is clearly up here, but for me, the way I see the setup is I would go for right in between, see this pivot right here, where price made the lower low high and then back to the low, and then slowly grind it down. That's of interest to me. So I'm going to actually draw another rectangle. That's going to be between this zone, and that's where you got the gap fill, and then the reversal to the downside. And if you see, the EMAs kind of line up. Okay. Here. Boom. All right. So after that, I'll look at specifically. So now that I have the range, specifically, I know this swing low is of interest, like this little order block area. I'll take my fib, and I want to go. How should we play this? It's essentially a sideways range. So we could think of this as distribution. We made a move down. On an up move, it'd be accumulation if we were sideways, but down move. So distribution. We're looking for false move up, boom, impulse down. So in between this range, I would look for a downside. So I would start from high to low. That's how I would run my fib. And then, like I said, my zone, I would actually start from the bottom. I just see it more of the support is towards the bottom of the area. So I would look for on the 4-hour where I think that confluence is. That's mostly in this area. You see that? And then to the low, I should just do it this way so y'all see to the low, and then boom. And then for me, of interest, things and setups I like to watch, there's one right here. You get a retest of the 0.618, and then on this, you get a test of the 0.618, and then you get a retest, and then if this rejects again, I'm looking for, downside under the 0.5 fib, and then further so downside under 0.236. And that's the last thing I'll probably touch on is the end levels of the fib. I look for a continuation to the up and down. And then one last thing, I guess since I'm doing this, fib extension, fib expansion. Let's run through this quickly. So fib extension would be, let me just give you all the basic, from high to low, to swing low, and then back to that high. Okay? That's how a typical fib extension will work. And that would look the same as if I used this tool and had gone, so one, up. As you see, we get the same values. But then if you want to do fib expansion, so this would be downside fib expansion, to project further levels. You would go from the swing high to the swing low to the pivot, which would be where this 0.382 actually is. So you would run this down to here. And then you see, okay, boom, got to retrace to the 0.5. All right, what are we looking for? We're looking for that 200 on the downside if we break further. So yeah, pretty much it. How I run fibs, what I do, how I figure out the zones. I honestly gave y'all a little bit too much, but hopefully that's enough to let y'all eat and figure out what is going on. Make sure to check into the webinar. I'm going to be going off way more. I'm going to explain each ratio, what type of trades I like to look at each ratio, and then how I use opening range fib, like fibs in the opening range to day trade, how I use the previous day's range to day trade, and same with the previous week's range. And then lastly, I'll be going over like truly fib expansion, fib contraction, and Fibonacci symmetry, which will be dope because I don't think there's a single video on YouTube that I've seen someone talking about that stuff. So yeah, hopefully starting to learn fibs, just mess around, have some fun. Like I said, stick to candle bodies or stick to wicks if you need to. Just be consistent and try something new. Use your favorite momentum indicators. Just don't add too much noise. As you see, there's a lot of lines on my screen. Something I do often is, say if I'm on a chart and I have my fib set up, I'll just mark the levels, delete the fib, and then I'll be like, okay, just go and change the text and say this is X fib from X date. And put it on the right. Boom. And then it's really that easy. So yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely make sure you're at the webinar. If you're not able to make it, still buy that webinar ticket so that way you get the recording. Otherwise, you're gonna be out of luck. So yeah, peace, guys. So yeah, on the 10-minute, that's how I would set it up for today.
On
And
270, on like
would
the
also
candle bodies or the
do-
wick?
I would,
The candle bodies or the wicks?
I do candle bodies, but you could do whatever. I would
I'm gonna do
just
that. I'll do the bodies.
yeah.
Yeah, coming back up.
I would say also, so when you do that, you get the downside extensions actually for this range, but you probably want to also do the upside. So the way I would do it is I would just run like wick to wick, like the swing low, pre-market low to the high, then back to this most recent low we just made on this bounce. I would run like a fib extension tool too. So then you see the fib expansion levels above. So then you have the price action ranges for in between this range, and then you have the extension for the upside and the downside.